Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you that are just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover. And through my channel, I answer your questions and share with you some of the tips and tricks and techniques that I use in my own voiceover business. So what I wanted to talk about today was that I get a lot of questions about Upwork and submitting a proposal for Upwork. And the main question is whether or not I should have like a template for proposals. When I send proposals to Upwork, should each one be written out as a personal message, or should I have a template to save time? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's get into it. So as far as templates go in general, I would say in the beginning, if you have time, to definitely write out a personal response to your client. But as things get a little bit busier for you, you will find that having a template, like for instance, with Fiverr and their quick responses, those can save you an awful lot of time in answering the same questions, that sort of thing. If it was a very detailed question from the client asking you for specific answers, then you definitely want to take the time to write out something personal. But those quick responses can save you tons of time, especially if it's something that is asked most often, like this. For example, I have an audiobook that is 30,000 words. What do you charge? If you have a quick response that tells the client, thank you for contacting me. A book this size would be X amount of dollars, and that includes the narration, the post-production, the mastering, the editing, and the formatting for ACX, and then detail what you include with your fee. So that is what I mean in terms of having like a template. And I'll show you what the Fiverr quick responses are. This is what I mean about Fiverr's quick responses. There's this little lightning bolt down here for the quick response. If you click that, you can have a ton of different quick responses. Some are already in there to get you started. You just need to edit them till they fit a little bit better what you want to say, or you can create your own custom quick response, as I do for audiobooks. So I have this audiobook one referencing that example I made earlier. If I click this, it will pre-fill what I want to respond to the client in terms of, I have an audiobook that's 30,000 words. What do you charge? This would be a good detailed response if I don't have that much time to spend. And I hate to say that because every client deserves equal amount of time and respect and attention, but sometimes you're going a little bit fast and you need to be able to answer a common question quickly. And the quick responses are great for that respect. And if you wanted to create your own, just as a side note, if you go to quick response, and at the very bottom, you have create a new quick response. If you click that, you can name the quick response with something that maybe you answer a lot, like mine, for instance, is audiobook. So I can click that and I know exactly what it's going to say. And then you would fill in your quick response down here and then save it. But we're not talking about Fiverr today. We're talking about Upwork. Well, I guess this could go for either, is creating a template for a site that doesn't have quick responses. So that would be Upwork, because Upwork doesn't have the ability as of right now to create a quick response or a response template. So what we're going to do today is we're going to create a template in Word that we're going to save to our computer, and we can kind of copy and paste, again, if it's a common question regarding, the time it's going to take you or your rate for a specific project, or if you're sending out a proposal or a bid for a job. It's helpful in those areas to have a response that you can add in that adds more than just my rate is X. It adds a little bit more personality to your bids or your proposals. So let's get started with that. Okay, so here we are with a fresh new Word document. And what we're going to do is first start with a greeting. Hello, and thank you for taking the time to review my proposal. Let's actually make my font a little bit bigger so I'm sure that you guys can read it. So, what I'm going to do here is just adjust my font size. All right, that should be a little bit easier for you to read. And then down below that, we're going to add, say, some text in parentheses, perhaps something else than the body of this proposal that's going to remind us to fill in personal or specific items, such as the username's name. But with Upwork, you don't always get a name or someone to greet. So for this proposal, you could leave it as hello. And thank you for taking the time to review my proposal. But if you're using this for another site where you have a name or someone that you want to address, you could put in parentheses, name, to remind yourself to use their name or to insert their name. Just make sure that you change it. So to remind you to change this, I would make it a different color, right? Hello, name. And thank you. Actually, let's do a comma because grammar is important. And thank you for taking the time to review my proposal. And down below that, I would write, attached is my demo for your review. And if this is for a specific type of voiceover, you could even insert that this is my audiobook demo, this is my e-learning demo. So we can actually add that here. This is my parentheses type of demo, and then make this red or whichever color you choose to remind yourself to change that later for your review. And then I would let the client know how quickly you can turn around the project. I would say, I can typically, have a project this size recorded and delivered within whatever time frame that corresponds to the type of project. Or you could leave it general. You could say between 24 to 48 hours. But if the client will need a estimate of time, so make sure that you either insert the amount of time this is going to take you. Obviously, if this is for an audiobook, you want to include enough time for you to read, record, format, get the entire production done. But this particular template is going to be for your day-to-day voiceovers. So I would say 24 to 48 hours of hire. And then you could include, or if you need this sooner, please let me know. That way, if they reach out to you and they say, well, I need this within 12 hours, then you can adjust your price accordingly, right? If you have like an express fee. And then your next sentence would be something that touches on their project. Like, again, if it's an audiobook, you could say, I love recording romantic novels, or I love creating new voices for video game characters, or I love narrating medical narrations or YouTube videos or whatever it is. So I'm going to leave this in parentheses to remind myself to add this sentence in. So I love recording YouTube video narrations or romance novels, etc., right? And then also make this your color to remind yourself to change that sentence later. Now, this next part is going to be about your rate. Oh, one thing I did want to mention, if you read through the proposal or for the project in Upwork and the client uses a code word, because sometimes they include a code word down at the very bottom of their job description to make sure that the people that are sending their proposals aren't just shotgunning proposals. They're actually reading what the project is and they're applying knowing full well they read the full description and they understand the project. So if there is a code word at the bottom of that client's job listing, make sure you use that and they'll tell you where to use it. They'll tell you to insert it at the very beginning of your proposal or somewhere within. So make sure that you include that code word. Didn't want to forget that. But your next paragraph is going to be regarding the rate. Now, if you've worked with Upwork at all, you know that everybody there has an hourly rate. And that doesn't really work for voiceover because most of the time, voiceover artists are charging per word, right? The number of words is how we did. There's a crazy bird outside. Is how we determine our rate for a job. So you could start this one with let's take it out of red. My rate for this project is fill in the project or the amount, right? Let's just say $XXX. And then again, highlight it your color to be sure that you remember to change that. But then note for the full project, including the appropriate rights for usage. And make sure that you do include in your price the rights for usage. Again, commercial rights or full broadcast rights. And again, commercial rights are for promoting a business, service, or product on non-paid marketing channels like social media, their website, YouTube. Full broadcast rights would be needed if they're going to promote that service, business, or product through paid marketing channels, meaning Google ads, TV, radio. You get the idea. They're paying to promote this product. So that would include your full broadcast rights. So make sure that your bid here reflects the entire project, not just in words and splitting files and adding music, whatever else you include, but it also includes your full usage rights or whichever usage rights you are appropriate for this product or project. And actually, I just thought we should probably note that Upwork does use an hourly rate, not our per word count. So we should probably note that in here as well. My rate for this project is X for the full project, including the appropriate rights for usage, instead of the Upwork hourly rate. And then following that, I would include a little bit about what makes working with you a little bit more special, right? Your proposal needs to be customer-centered, what I can do for you versus this is my world and you're just living in it, Mr. Client, right? Our proposal needs to be customer-centered. The customer needs to know why it's beneficial for them to work with you versus somebody else. So make sure that you also list in here what the benefits are with working with you, right? What do they get with that? On top of getting their project done, what else can they expect? What's the expectation for them? So I would also include, when you work with me, you get, and then list what are the benefits of working with you, right? You could say fast and, let's capitalize that, friendly communication. I would also note how cognizant you are of their time and how valuable their project is to you, right? Because their project is important to them. It should be just as important to you, right? So make sure that you note that. I understand the importance of your time and value your business. And then you could include something about your hardware, right? Or your recording equipment. You could say clear and clean audio. No background noise or breaths, right? Something to that effect, that you are professional and you don't include any of the extraneous noises that nobody wants in their audio, right? I could also say broadcast quality and professional, or you could say professional voiceovers. And just like anywhere else, you have to set the expectation for the client up front regarding revisions, right? If you offer one free revision with any of your projects, then I would definitely state that here. So the client, if you think about it, the client's going to get several of these proposals or more, sometimes up to 50. If they're skimming through these quickly and they're looking at price, time, maybe quality or equipment, and then they're also looking at how many revisions do they get with this price, right? What can they expect, as maybe they don't even need revisions, but they want to have that peace of mind knowing that they could have it changed without having more money come out of their pocket. So I would also include in your when you work with me, you get how many ever revisions that you offer. So for me, that would be one free round of revisions of up to 300 words. Mistakes. If I make a mistake, it's on me. And then from here, you can add any other bullet points that you want to highlight about your studio, your booth, your performances. If you want to add anything else about maybe some of the clients that you've worked for, if you want to include a testimonial, you can. Just don't go completely over the top, as I think a lot of these clients probably don't review your entire proposal or bid, and you don't really want to come off being that guy, right? At least I don't. But you do what you want to do. If you want to include testimonials and your client, how many clients or which clients you've worked for, you can include that. Or maybe some background about yourself. You could totally do that as well. But for me, I like to keep things, in case you couldn't tell, short, sweet, and to the point. So for me, I would wrap this up and say, thank you so much for your time and consideration. And then your name. And on Upwork, I go by Angela O. So I'm going to leave that as Angela O. And then now we just want to review it and make sure that there's but we didn't make any typos or leave any commas out or tweak or change anything that maybe will sound a little bit better if we look it over just one more time. We don't want any mistakes to be in this proposal. So we got hello name, and thank you for taking the time to review my proposal. Attached is my type of demo for your review. I can typically have a project this size recorded and delivered within 24 to 48 hours of hire. Or if you need this sooner, please let me know. And then a little bit of something about the project and how you feel about it, right? I love recording YouTube video narrations or romance novels, etc. My rate for this project is X for the full project, including the appropriate rights for usage, instead of the Upwork hourly rate. When you work with me, you get fast and friendly communication. I understand the importance of your time and value your business. Clear and clean audio, no background noise or breaths. Professional voiceovers. I think performances sounds better. No, actually, should we just leave it as voiceovers? You can tweak it however you want to. I'm going to leave it as professional voiceovers. And then, of course, always make sure that you include your revision policy. One free round of revisions of up to 300 words. That's for me. You do what you want. If I make a mistake, it's on me, right? Because if you make the goof, you should take care of the revision, right? Thank you so much for your time and consideration, Angela O. And after you submit this proposal, after you change all of the red areas to match what you need them to be, and you send off this proposal, if the client reaches out to you with additional questions, answer all of their questions concisely and quickly. Clients will always appreciate a quick response. They may ask you for a complimentary sample of their script. They may ask you for more demos. They may ask you for a charge of additional revisions. They may ask you, a bunch of different questions regarding your proposal, but make sure that you know how to answer those questions. Maybe they say, well, we changed our mind. We don't want you to narrate this script. We want you to narrate this script. You don't have to send this whole proposal back to them. Just answer their question. Instead of X, this new script would be Y, right? But just make sure that you have a rate card in place. You understand what your rates are going to be and how to calculate those rates. You have a policy for yourself, for your own business. What you do for revisions. Do you offer one revision? Do you offer two? None? And if you do, how many words does that cover for the revision? Does that revision cover script changes? Mine does not. If they need something changed in pace or tone, I'll be more than happy to revise. If it's up to 300 words, I'll totally give them a different take on it. But if it's a script change, that is a whole new voiceover and requires a different cost or another cost, right? So make sure that you have all of these things squared away or written down, even better, like in your rate card, that you can refer to answer these questions when the clients reach back out to you because of your proposal. But having a proposal template is very, very handy for, again, if you're going through proposals quickly and say you found, maybe 10 that you wanted to place a bid on and you didn't have the time to sit and write down, a proposal for each one of them, use the template at least for a baseline, right? Use the template, insert some different, change some of the verbiage around if you want to, but use it as a baseline because it will help in the long run, save you time as you go from client to client to client. But don't forget that code word that we talked about earlier, because that code word will determine whether or not that client even looks at your proposal. If you did not read through the entire description and they said, include the words blue cheetah at the start of your proposal, or it will not even be looked at. So make sure you include at the beginning of your proposal blue cheetah to show the client that you actually read through their entire job description. That's very important, because I'm personally seeing code words more and more often, so make sure that you watch out for those. But that is how we create a template. Very, very easy. Just write out a template like that, include those basic ideas as a baseline for a template, save it onto your desktop, and use that to copy and paste when you're submitting proposals, but just make sure that you personalize it a bit and change those red areas or whatever color you chose to their name or include their name if they gave you one. Change the one that says what your rate actually is, change that rate and insert a few personal notes showing them that, you took the time to read their description and you understand what kind of project they have and that you are willing to do. And then also, of course, make sure you include that code word. So I hope that helps save you a little bit of time in submitting some proposals. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. I really appreciate that. If you have any questions about voiceover or audiobooks in general, please leave them down below. I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you again, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.